Welcome back, Math Marbles. In this lesson, we're going to review solving equations. And you're going to see me do two things. We're going to use the inverse operation to isolate the variable. And we're going to perform inverse operations to both sides of the equation, so to both expressions. And I did also want to note that there are going to be times you're going to see us do additive inverse. And that is if I want to get zero, if I want to get a zero pair, remember we add the opposite. And a multiplicative inverse may also come up, where if I want to have 1, then I can multiply by its reciprocal. All right, so let's take a look. We're going to have tons of practice. Here in this first one, it's written in ax plus b equals c form. So I'm going to start with this 5. I want it to be 0, so I'm going to add its opposite. And I'm going to do that to both expressions. So on this side, 5 minus 5 is going to be 0, or just 2x. On the other side, I am left with 6. All right, so that was my inverse. The inverse of addition was subtraction. Now I have multiplication. I have 2x. So the inverse of multiplying is to divide. Okay, so here I was going to write subtraction. I used subtraction, and here I'm using division. Okay, and I'm going to do it also to both sides. So when I divide 2 divided by 2, it's going to leave me with 1. 1 is equal to 3. 6 divided by 2 is 3. All right, here's our answer for the first one. And we're going to substitute just to make sure we have the correct answer. So I go back to my original. 2x plus 5 equals 11. We're going to sub in 2 times 3 plus 5 equals 11. 6 plus 5 does equal 11, so we're correct. All right, let's look at our next one. And again, we're starting with this term here, that whole number. We want to deal with that first. So we want to create a zero pair. So since I have negative 3, I'm going to use the opposite, which is addition. So I'm going to add 3. I'm going to do that to both sides. That creates a zero pair. So now I'm left with a number divided by 4 is equal to 5. All right, what's the opposite of division? A number divided by 4 is opposite would be multiplying. So I'm going to multiply. Instead of dividing by 4, I'm going to multiply by 4. And I'm going to do the same thing the other side. Like, notice on one side it's 4 over 1 because I have fractions. On the other side, I just left it as a 4. All right, so that gives me 4x over 4 is equal to 20. We're going to simplify this. 4 divided by 4 is just 1x. So x is equal to 20. And just like before, we're going to triple check our work. We're going to sub it in. So x divided by 4 minus 3 equals 2. 20 divided by 4 minus 3 equals 2. 20 divided by 4 is 5. 5 minus 3 equals 2. We are correct. All right, so hit pause and jot this down. And again, you're seeing the flow. We're always starting with that b, that constant number. We're getting rid of it first. We're creating a zero pair. And then we're dealing with whatever term is connected to our variable with multiplication or division. And we're going to make sure it's on both sides. All right, we're going to move a little faster here so you can see it. Again, if I have something, this one is written in ax plus b equals c form. I'm going to start with that b by adding its opposite. And that leaves me with negative 4x is equal to 24. And now the opposite of multiplying by negative 4 is dividing by negative 4. So I'm going to do that to both sides. So that leaves me with x, or 1x, is equal to negative 6. See, we went slow and now we're moving a lot faster. Go back and double check your work. Take your original equation. We're going to substitute our solution. Negative 4 times negative 6 is 24. 24 minus 3 is 21. And we're done. All right, now we're going to do the trickier one, which is a term being divided. So again, we're starting with that b term, which is still right here. So we're going to add its opposite to both expressions. This turns to a 0. A number divided by -3 is equal to 17. All right, so the opposite of divided by -3 is multiplying by -3. We'll go do the same thing to the other side. Okay, so on this side we have -3m divided by -3. And on the other end we have 17 times 3, which is -51. All right, so -3 divided by -3 just gives us m is equal to -51. Let's double check our work. I want to give myself some room and some space. So m divided by -3 minus 4 equals 13. -51 divided by -3 minus 4 equals 13. All right, so 3 goes into 5 one time, gives me a 2, 21. 3 goes into 21 7 times, so 17 minus 4 is equal to 13. There, we're done. We're correct. Hit pause and jot this down to your notes. And now let's get to our last one. Again, we're moving super fast now, because now you can kind of see where we're going with this. Creating a 0 pair. Doing the opposite, so a coefficient of 2 means I'm going to divide by 2. X is equal to -1. Checking your work just allows us to check that we didn't make any computation errors. Two times -1 is -2. -2 minus 1 is -3. We're correct. And for the second one, it does look a little tricky. So how do I start this part off? We're going to start with, let's see, an n minus 1 divided by 7. We're going to start by multiplying by 7 over 1. So we're going to deal with that part first. And that gives us 7 times n minus 1 over 7 is equal to 35. Now part of you is probably saying, now I have to distribute and do all this work. Before you get there, I can also divide 7 divided by 7. So now I'm left with n minus 1 is equal to 35. And now we know what the inverse is here. We're going to add 1 to both sides. So n is equal to 36. And as always, we're going to double check our work. A number, oops, here we go. A number minus 1 divided by 7 equals 5. 36 minus 1 divided by 7 equals 5. All right, let's simplify it first. 36 minus 1 is 35 divided by 7 equals 5. And that is a true statement. So there you go, Math Marvels. As you can see, in terms of what we're demonstrating, we are using inverse operations. We're doing the opposite operations from what we see. Saying it aloud helps. And then we're performing that inverse operation to both expressions. Once you get the steps, if anything, most kids will make errors just in computation, so double check with a partner, and if you have different answers, check to see where they're different and try and talk it out about what it is you did to derive that answer and see if that makes sense to both of you. That's it for today. Get some feedback before that exit ticket. I will see you in the next lesson. Get that practice in. Take care.